I was looking at your article that's coming up in the February issue about a carefully chosen personal representative. That is so, so true. It's becoming more and more true as baby boomers are becoming the caregivers because they're a different breed, Joe, as you know. They're not going easily. I mean, they they have their own opinions. Now, before, I'm sure you knew this as a lawyer. You told everybody, the family, what was going to go on, and pretty much it went on that way. But now, everyone has a different opinion.
Yeah, and you know, my clients come usually with the same delusional thoughts. They say, one, my kids I want to treat my kids equally, so I'll put them all in charge, as if two and three people working together with equal power. This has nothing to do with beneficiaries. This has to do with who's got the responsibilities is a good thing. And then they discovered, no, well, one of them is very busy, too. The other one lives in a different time zone. The other one has a very domineering spouse. And now you got three bosses that can't even coordinate scheduling. That's number one. That's even when the family is good and there are no issues. But frequently there are issues that are not stated. The issues that exist have been, the kids have always been good together because they accommodate mom and dad. So they go through the charade. So they had problems picking who's in charge. And what you can understand is you're talking about who's doing the work, not who's getting the money. The other issue is when the kids don't get along, and you know it. And then they say, when I'm dead, they'll get along. And you say, why? Why do you think that would happen if they couldn't even accommodate their mother or father and try to be nice to each other for your sakes? How many times did you ask your kids, for me, couldn't you just be nice to your sister? For me, I want to have the family together for an event. Why can't you all come together? And if they won't do it for you, why do you think it'll happen for them? I had a client who had named me as the personal representative of his estate. This happened a couple of weeks ago. It may have happened before I even called in, but this absolutely gospel story. They all are, but this is, I'm just thinking of it. And he had named me because his son and daughter don't get along. And when his son, like my phone is dying. Are you there?
Yeah, we are. You want to get into another phone?
I'm getting to another phone.
Okay.
I'm finding another phone as we speak.
Okay. But that's okay. You just do it. I'm just going to talk about. Yeah. All right. Are you all right now? Okay.
I'm still here. I don't hear the beeping.
Okay.
But the son and daughter hear that I'm doing it, and they say, "Dad, that's crazy. We can do it. We're getting everything 50-50. We can do it." So, can I have that phone, Debbie, just in case? So they say, the son and daughter say, "We can do it. That's crazy. Don't hire him to do that. It's a waste of money." And candidly, if you have the right person or person, it certainly is a waste of money if everything else is equal to hire the lawyer to do it. So, one second, I try a second phone at the same time.
All right.
You still there?
Yeah, we're here. We're listening. Good. I want to just let you know, while you're doing that, just get yourself straightened out. Let me talk about your seminars, and I'll give the dates, and you get that figured out. Okay, so Tuesday, remember, there's a free senior survival workshops. They occur Wednesday, February the 11th, from 1:30 to 4, Port St. Lucie, and then Tuesday, February the 10th, from 1:30 to 4 in Boynton Beach, and then Thursday, February the 12th, from 1:30 to 4 in Palm Beach Gardens. And it's really, it is a place that you don't want to miss. You need to hear it. the way Joe gives these seminars. Nobody else does anything like this. So remember again, Wednesday, February the 11th, 1:30 to 4 at Port St. Lucie, and Tuesday, February the 10th, at from 1:30 to 4 in Boynton Beach, and February the 12th, which is a Thursday, from 1:30 to 4 at Palm Beach Gardens Marriott. Get on his website for more information. It's Karp Law, KARPLAW.com. Phone number is 1-800-893-9911. Okay, are you set?
Yeah, I'm set, and if this dies out, I'd go to my cell phone, but for now I'm okay.
Okay.
So anyway, the father calls me up and says, my son and daughter are irate. They don't want you to be in charge. They want to be in charge together. I said, absolutely fine, no problem. We switch the documents. I say, come on in and we'll sign it. He comes in, he says, my son and daughter are here too. I said, well, you'll sign first, and then we'll talk to them. That's fine. Comes in, he signs the document. Then we bring the son and daughter in, and I say, look, I want to explain why your father did this. You two have a history of not getting along, and your father believes you can resolve this amongst yourselves, and you'll be able to handle everything because you're 50-50 beneficiaries, and that's why we did the change. And they say, absolutely can. And then, of course, the son starts why the daughter is the problem. The daughter, you still there?
Yep.
The daughter starts with why the son is the problem. I said, but you can all get along, right? I said, so, I said, bank accounts and stuff are easy. I said, but your dad's condo's going to have to be sold, and decisions are going to have to be made. So the broker may tell you that we have to repaint and that the place is worth $155. And one of you may feel that it doesn't need to be painted and it's worth $165. Are you two going to be able to agree amongst yourselves on how to resolve these types of issues that you'll have to face on something you're getting 50-50? And without blinking an eye, the daughter turns to the father, abruptly points her finger at me and says, I want him in charge. Because she knew she and her brother can't agree about today is Saturday. You there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So she said, now I get it. We never agree. She said, we're going to be fighting over what color paint, what price to pay the painter, how much to sell the place for. So 50-50 doesn't work. She said, Daddy, we'll have two lawyers fighting each other if we don't have somebody neutral in there. And they're all going to go home and discuss it all because now all of a sudden they started to understand that equal in, and of course, neither one wants the other one to be the only one in charge because they don't trust each other and they don't like each other's judgment.
But they both live in the same location too. They're both
they're
because
both,
that's another story that you've gone through.
That's a separate issue.
Mm-hmm.
But and that becomes the other part. What do you do when the competent one's in Seattle and the incompetent one's in Boca Raton? Do you then pick the competent one in Seattle to the dismay of the Boca Raton? I'm here, I can do everything, or do you or do you pick the incompetent one because they're local, or do you get people in two separate time zones to try to work together? So sometimes, selection of the person in charge is critical. And sometimes where no problem existed, a problem exists. So I've said it's sort of something I taught my sons when they were little. My sons used to come running in, Mommy, Ben did this. Mommy, John did this. Daddy, Ben did this. Daddy, John did this. They'd keep running in. And when they got old enough, I said, hey, you guys haven't figured it out. My brothers and I figured it out from day one. We never ran to Mommy, and Daddy. We went to each other, and we made them the common enemy. Watch out, Mommy's going to ask you to do this. Be careful. I said, at least if they don't like the bank, the broker, the trust company, the lawyer, the accountant, Uncle Charlie, whoever you put in charge as a neutral, at least they may say, that SOB, or we got to get, make it a common enemy between them, and that may actually facilitate keeping your family together, because together they're saying, we got to get this thing resolved. So it's just something for people to think about. There's no right answer, but don't be delusional. Don't think it can be done. One of my clients named a son of hers who was absolutely perfect for the job, except for one thing. He was the busiest guy in the world. And therefore, and he was very, very thorough and compulsive. He wanted to do everything himself. He wanted to do it, A, because he was compulsive, and B, because he didn't want to have to pay third parties to do things that he could do himself. But as a result, it took him forever to do things. And meanwhile, his siblings were waiting for the money because he couldn't even get the house cleaned up fast enough because he wanted to go through every closet himself.
Joe, I just have to, when I was seeing the news a few days ago about Robin Williams, I mean,
sure,
it's just perfect, isn't it, what you talk about?
Yeah, I mean, Robin Williams is on our blog spot as well. So for those who want to go to our blog, you can go visit that as well. But yeah, the Robin Williams thing is not unique. And by the way, for those of you who want to look at our blog and follow it, it's karplaw.blogspot, blogspot.com. And we put interesting articles of things we find in the news all the time for people to follow and read. This stuff happens all the time, and for people who don't think it out. I had somebody who came in and said yesterday they were changing their estate plan. They had named their brother to be in charge. They have no kids, and the guy named his brother. And he had a falling out with his brother. His brother's kids are still in his good favor, and he loves and adores them. Okay? And they're adult children. And he told me that his brother can be a bit malevolent and can be spiteful. And the brother's two kids, one still works for the brother's business and will probably take it over someday, and the other doesn't. So he got to the point where he said, who are we going to name after my brother? He said, I'll name the two kids together. And he doesn't want his brother having any input whatsoever. I said, well, if you name the one kid who works for your brother, who expects to get the business when your brother dies, isn't he under your brother's thumb? Won't he have to do what his father says? If his father says, tell me everything about the estate, tell me what you're doing, tell me what you're selling the house for. He said, you're absolutely right. The other kid will be in charge alone because he's not as accountable to his father. And so you have to, and he said, and my client happens to be a lawyer. He said, now I understand why I shouldn't be doing this for myself. I was wondering why I need another lawyer to do this. He said, I had no perspective on it. I have no experience with this stuff. You're absolutely right. So you got to get a perspective. You got to think about it, and you got to be realistic. So we're doing seminars in this week, and I want to warn everybody, we're not doing any in March because I want to be able to see the people we have. We have a lot of our clients back, in season. So we decided not to do March seminars. So if you want to come in, the next time we're doing seminars will be in April. We're offering free consultations. I don't want my clients to say, Joe, why are you doing seminars? You're too busy to see your existing clients.
We got March seminars in the magazine coming up.
Well, we're gonna. I don't know. I'll tell Debbie to get it out because
we can't. It's already printed. It's printed.
Oh, okay. But I'll have to live with it.
Well, no. What you have to do then is
in your March paper will put down March seminars canceled.
Yeah, that's true. The February will have it. You're right. And in March, it just won't have it. You're right. That's how we'll do it.
Nothing I can do.
Yeah. No.
The answer is
Okay.
we had to cancel. We
It's
had
okay.
a book, and I said, we got to take care of our clients. So those of you who want to see it, come on in and we'll talk about stuff. There's lots of changes going on right now. For those people who have been coming to my seminars or listening to me, there are major changes taking place in Medicaid. There are major changes taking place in the VA. The VA has put out a proposal, so everybody understands, if you've come to my seminars and heard me talk, that the VA has no look-back period for transfers. You've said, we can move the money today and we can apply for VA tomorrow. The VA has proposed an administrative change in law that will create a 3-year look-back and penalty periods for transfers. So people who thought they could wait better not consider waiting. It's not cast in stone, that law. They have the proposal, then they have to have people have the right to object and have hearings. But we could see a change in the VA law very quickly. Now, historically, they have approved behavior that took place prior to the enactment of the law. Let me explain what that means. Suppose they say, as of April 1st, any transfers will have a 3-year look-back. Historically, they have grandfathered in transfers that took place prior to April 1st. So if you applied in May, they would say, well, the transfers that took place in March are fine. We're not going to penalize you. I can't promise what the law will be, but that's historically the way they've applied it. So I would suggest to people that if they are interested in what changes are taking place or may take place, because we stay on the cusp of knowing what's going on. I always say to people when we meet, when we talk about Medicaid planning and I talk about spousal refusal, I say there's nothing on the radar with regard to spousal refusal. I'm telling you now, both with regard to some Medicaid laws and some VA laws, there's some things that are on the radar that you can no longer relax and say, I've got all the time in the world. There's always estate planning issues, and there's always all of the stuff. So people who would like an opportunity, if we think we can help you, you can have a free consultation if you attended our workshop. And so I'd suggest that people recognize that and address that, especially since you're not going to, if you call up and after the seminars and say, I'd like to have an appointment, we'll say, well, it's not free if you didn't attend the seminar, so you can have an appointment, or you can wait till the April seminars to get your appointment. So people should be aware.
Joe, so someone calls, though, then they make an appointment for you. Let's say they've even been in the seminar. That was not the point. The point is that when someone does make an appointment and you've never met them before, excuse me, what do you want them to bring with them?
Oh, well, we tell them, first of all, we send them a sheet to fill out so that they have some information. That sheet lists what I call your cast of characters, who are the people in your life, your children, and fill in the information. If we're giving you an hour, don't have me start writing your daughter's name down, because that's going to take you part of the hour. Don't have me write the address. And you say, well, why do you need that? The answer is because if you hire me, I don't have to spend the time and you don't have to spend the time. Also, knowing their address, surprisingly enough, helps me. You say, well, why do you care where the kids live? Well, I'll turn to people who have an estate and they have 2 daughters in New Jersey. And they say, well, we've got a $1.3 million estate counting our house, and they have no estate tax exposure. And I say, well, that's not necessarily true. And they say, what do you mean? It's $5.4 million and Florida has no estate tax. I say, that's right, but here's my experience, that there's a reasonable possibility that the survivor amongst you, as they get old and as they get infirm, are going to move to New Jersey because your daughters are going to say, please, Mom, please, Dad, you're killing us. We're flying back and forth. We need you in Florida. We can't come to Florida every time you fall. You're in assisted living, your friends are gone, or you're in independent living, move to New Jersey. And they say, so? And I said, well, New Jersey has an estate tax on everything over $675,000. We should plan for that possibility. It's not a guarantee, but we can plan for that. We also want to know what type of assets you have, because it's not only how much you have, it's what do you have, what are the types, what are the values, IRAs, insurance, 401s, annuities, stocks, bonds, everything varies in terms of how you should treat that as an estate planner. So filling in that general information, I don't need your account number, but I need to know, what kind of annuity do you have? Is it a tax-deferred annuity that's qualified, which means it's a 401 or a 403 or an IRA, or is it after-tax dollars? All of these things picture in. So we ask them to fill out a form, and my golden rule is it's sort of like the doctor. I get a doctor who's very smart. You know what he does? He makes me do my blood work before I show up, so that when I show up, he doesn't say, well, this is what it looks like. Here are the prescriptions, but don't fill them yet because I want to see your blood work. He's got my blood work. I want your blood work when you come in. I really do. Think about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm guessing.
Right.
And we ask them to bring in their existing estate planning documents so that we can tell them what we see and what we think of it. I don't want to tell somebody that they need a new trust or a new will if I haven't seen it. I want to take a look and say, okay, this is what your document says. Do you understand it? Do you agree with it? Here is the shortcoming in this document. Do you want to change it or fix it? Or can you live with it? So that's what we ask people to bring in. So that and we ask them to bring it in, and that's why it's not idle curiosity. It's so we can give them the right answers.
Well, before I don't want to run out of time, I want to tell everybody again. Remember, February, it's Wednesday. Let's start with Tuesday, February the 10th, which is going to be the Courtyard by Marriott. And then we're going to go on Wednesday, February the 11th, to Port St. Lucie, the Holiday Inn up there. And then we're going to be on Thursday, February the 12th, at the Palm Beach Gardens Marriott. And Joe calls them senior survival workshops. They really are. They're spectacular. New tax laws, whatever is out there, hear it from the expert. Don't get it from the newspapers or from other friends. Just go and listen. Joe Karp is an elder law board certified elder law attorney, and there are not that many of them. And make sure that you go to someone like that. Also, I want you to have the phone number. It's 1-800-893-9911, or go to their website, which is karplaw.com, K-A-R-P law.com, or you can go to the blog, which is also, we haven't really been advertising that, but it's, can they find that if they go to your website?
Yes, probably, but it's karplaw.blogspot.com.
Okay.
And to my clients, I want to apologize. You have not gotten our hard copy newsletter. It's going out this week. Because of a change that was taking place in Medicaid, we kept holding back. And finally, since the change wasn't finalized, we're sending out the newsletter with a note that this change is not final yet, but we thought it was going to become final January 30th. So we held off the newsletter till this past Monday, and now the printers are printing it. So it'll come out in the mail, and you'll get it. And we have a lot of people getting it. We're sending out, between our clients and the people who've asked to stay on our mailing list, we have over 12,000 going out in the mail this week.
Fantastic. Okay, well, Joe, I really appreciate talking with you today. Remember, everybody, go over to Faith Farm in Boynton Beach. They're having a huge sale there. You'll want to catch that, a Valentine's Day sale. And Joe, I hope happy Valentine to you and Debbie.
Well, absolutely. And to everybody who's listening, have a good, safe February and enjoy our delightful winter.
Yeah,
And
right.
Don't rub it into your friends.
Right.
Nice and kind.
Thanks,
Okay,
Joe.
thanks, Anita.
All right.
Be well.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.